Hey guys, Dan here with Pain for You. So believe it or not, yesterday's Q&A, which was over 20 minutes, was only about half the questions that I got. So I'm going to try to bang through some of the rest of these questions, see if I can do them justice. Some of these I'll probably defer to an entire video for the topic. So let me just go through them as they are. How to get to radical acceptance and becoming indifferent to the pain. It's kind of a two-part question. And how important is belief that I'll start to get better, even if not 100% believing it? So in other words, if you don't believe 100% that you can get better, is that going to hold you back? Anytime you try to define a rule that says, if I don't do this, I won't get better, all you're doing is setting for yourself a criteria which is almost impossible to make. So is there 100% belief? No. But the more you believe, the more likely you are to see benefits. If you think this is all BS, I don't think you're going to get too far. But if you think, yeah, this really makes sense, sometimes we have to just have faith in the process, have faith in the fact that people have done this before you, and there were all varying degrees of belief. I think the stronger your belief, the faster and more likely you are to get better, as opposed to somebody who says this is like, maybe 1% I believe it and the rest of it's BS. So anyway, yes, you can get better. Follow the processes, follow the mindset stuff. Belief is part of it. So yes, do the emotional discovery, soothe yourself, get the mindset dialed in. Don't focus on your pain all day long. Get into a gratitude practice. Go do the things you want to do as best as you can. Some of us are restricted by our pains. But, and how to get to radical acceptance? Well, resisting where you are right now, basically not accepting where you are right now and fighting it and being desperate to change your pain levels, isn't going to help you get better. So it is what it is, right? I need reading glasses to see. Radical acceptance. It is what it is. I would rather not wear them, but I do. And that's a very insignificant thing to use as an example. But if my back hurts today, not accepting that isn't going to make it go away. So why not just accept it? And it is funny how when we stop resisting things, they stop persisting. So how to become indifferent to the pain. Again, because being overly caring about the pain never helped. And on the complete, opposite spectrum of indifference is freaking out and hating the pain. Look, if you're hating your pain, you're the opposite of indifference. And hating the pain and freaking out over it never got anybody better. So how do you get there? You don't have a choice. It's the way to go. So just make a decision that you're going to be indifferent. Take a whatever. Okay, I'm hurting really bad today. You're still safe. You're just massively uncomfortable. So, another question very similar. Really focusing on the severe pain and how you still cultivate a mindset of acceptance. I just talked about that, so I'm not going to repeat that stuff. Somebody asked about carpal tunnel, but I did a whole video on that recently. Getting back to exercise. I did a whole video on resuming physical activity. Go to, YouTube, search Pain Free You channel. Once you get in there, there's a little magnifying glass, and then search for resuming physical activity. Basically, it's don't go out and try to run a marathon the first day you've got no pain. You're going to want to do it slowly. It took me a while to really gain confidence that I wasn't going to hurt myself. And just get into it a little bit at a time. If your fear of movement is through the roof, you're probably going to experience a spike in pain. If you're okay with that and you know that it's purely the fear and not the fact that you just moved your body and you hurt yourself, then keep going with it. But if the fear is going to trigger you, and if that's going to cause you the pain, and that's going to cause you to think, oh no, I overdid it, now I hurt my body, you're not yet at the point where you get it and truly understand enough that it's not your body. It's not going for a walk that hurt your body. What you're having is the stress of resuming physical activity and the worry that the pain's going to come back or flare. That's usually why it comes back. And so it's a balance. You're going to have to just take it slow and always check yourself for reality. Did I truly injure myself, or was I just freaked out about resuming physical activity, and that freak out and the stress and the worry and the fear is what caused it to spike again? So somebody else also asked about TMS equivalents, acid reflux, psoriasis, etc. So the symptoms themselves vary widely. There's hundreds of symptoms that all fall under the TMS umbrella, if you will. And the symptoms don't matter. Basically, well, and psoriasis is interesting because that's a change in our skin. Is it stress related? Yes. Could it be several other things also playing a role? Yes. Is it immune system related? I believe yes. And so since stress suppresses the immune system and the digestive system, it's all combined. It's all cumulative. It's all related. So if you're having psoriasis or other immune system disorders, yes, it's probably as a result of too much stress. Now, as we talk about TMS, so many people call it different things. TMS, in my mind, is too much stress. The stress response, the body's response to the stress. You know, it's not just chronic pain caused by what Dr. Sarno figured out, this distraction mechanism. A chronic state of suppressed digestive or immune systems can absolutely allow some other things to take hold, digestive problems and immune problems. It's all related to too much stress. So somebody asked if I could do a video regarding gender and TMS, and why feeling your feelings as a man is counterintuitive because of gender stereotypes, saying it seems to be harder for men in some ways and for women in others. So my statistics are about 80% of the Pain For You page and group and YouTube viewers, 80% are women. Does that mean that men don't get TMS or these chronic symptoms or pain? They absolutely do. I think men are taught to toughen up, suck it up, just be a man. And I've definitely spoken to plenty of men who have just sucked it up and went to work for 40 years with back pain. And they would never open up to the idea that it might have a mind-body component. And if you tell them it's because of repressed emotions, they may be less likely to be open to that. And so I think men are just basically told, don't be weak, don't be a big baby, just toughen up, suck it up. And that's why there's so many more men in these communities. But I honestly think men experience these problems just as much as women. They're just a little less likely to put up their hand and say, I think I got a problem, I think it's emotionally related. And so many guys just live with it. Let's see. Any thoughts on how to let go if you feel the symptoms decreasing? This person says, I wonder sometimes if I'm so conditioned to the pain and sensations that even when it's possibly decreasing, I still feel it at an intensity of 100. I hope this makes sense. Yeah, we're conditioned to look for the pain. We've taught ourselves to react to it, to freak out every time we feel it. And catastrophize. So let's say you're feeling better and you've had a day where there's very little pain, and then the next day the pain is worse. Well, there's two ways to react. You can either freak out and be like, oh no, I knew it was too good to be true. Oh, here it comes again. In which case, you're almost virtually guaranteeing that the pain is going to come roaring back because your reaction to it put attention and energy on it, and it's going to be more prevalent, as opposed to going, whatever, I had a great day yesterday, a little worse today, but I don't care. I'm going to have a good day anyway. Just listen and feel the difference in those two responses, because it does matter. So yes, we can be conditioned to look for the pain, and that's part of the problem, is we're always looking for it. And even when it's not there, we're saying, oh my God, where is it? I better not move this way, I better not move that way, I'm worried I'm going to hurt myself, which you're not going to hurt yourself. That term, hurt yourself, tends to be more along the lines of, I'm going to injure myself. That seems to be the connection that people make. Look, pain may come back after it goes away, and that's perfectly okay. The key is to not care. Literally, not care. Because if you just had a pain-free day, if you had one day with no pain, or even 1 minute with no pain, you can get rid of it completely. All right? So, job stress works for the police department. That's a biggie. Look, that's one of those environments where you're constantly in a stressful environment. There's constant danger. You never know when the next time you pull somebody over, there's going to be a gun in your face or bullets firing at you. Because I've never worked in an environment like that, I feel a little bit ill-equipped to deal with that. But I guess my gut feel is if you work in an environment like that, it becomes that much more important for when you are not on the job to soothe yourself. When you are on the job and you are not currently in imminent danger, to soothe yourself. Check in with the reality of the danger. Say, okay, I'm just sitting in the patrol car. There's no imminent danger, and let me bring myself down. And just kind of balance the stress and the stress response with the soothing response, the rest and recovery, when in fact there is no imminent danger. And I can't imagine what it's like, nor can I put myself in that position. But I think if you are in an extremely stressful job like that, where there is real, true, imminent danger, counterbalancing that with the soothing and the rest and recovery becomes that much more important. Really take care of yourself when you're not in danger. And notice when your thoughts are catastrophizing and getting out of control and worrying about something that's not even happening in the moment. So I don't know. I hope that makes sense. Another person asked, what about setting boundaries and not allowing others' opinions to set you back? Basically, it's having adult conversations when they're warranted. If somebody continues to insult, berate, criticize you, yeah, there's a time when you got to say, thanks, but no thanks. You may think you're trying to help me by telling me to, grow up and your pain can't be that bad, or whatever people say. Other people's opinions, I don't know. There's that old phrase. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one, and they all stink. I don't know. Horrible joke, horrible analogy, but if somebody's got an opinion, that doesn't have to be yours. You don't have to accept their opinion as belonging to you. How do we know if we're feeling the feelings or not? Well, if you say, right now, what emotion am I feeling? And you go, you're trying to think, right? Because the body language of thinking is eyes up, kind of looking up. Yeah, I'm thinking, If you're feeling your emotions, you're kind of more centered. You're more, within yourself. How do you know if you're feeling your feelings? Well, have you ever been mad? Do that. Have you ever been sad and cried? Do that. Have you ever felt jealous? Well, do that. Have you felt envy? Do that. How about guilt or shame? Oh, I'm so shameful. Do that. Like, how do you know if you're feeling your feelings? Is if you feel them, right? If you're just thinking like, yeah, Bobby pissed me off and I'm angry. If there's no reaction within your body, if there's no guttural tension or angst, then you may not be feeling them. You may be thinking, I should be angry, and therefore, yeah, I think I'm feeling my emotions. But if you're truly angry, you're kind of, your body tenses, your neck tightens, your fists clench, your jaw tightens. So how do you feel Just remember back to a time when you felt angry and you truly felt it, and use that as a reference point. How to deal with anxiety when the pain subsides. I think I'm going to try to tackle anxiety. It's a whole separate video, but what I'll tell you here is, everybody keeps saying, how do I get rid of the anxiety? How do I get rid of the anxiety? And we're actually giving ourselves anxiety attacks, trying to get rid of the anxiety. And anxiety is nothing more than fear of a future imagined event. So, check in with your thoughts. Where are your thoughts going? Are you fearing and having anxiety about a future imagined event? Because fear is usually over a real and present current danger. And you may say, but I'm in danger. Look, my body's hurting. I've got all these symptoms. No, you're not. You're just massively uncomfortable. You're not actually in danger. Because if you understand and truly believe TMS is benign, has no long-term effect on the tissues of our body, then you're not in danger. So how do you deal with the anxiety? My recommendation is allow it, feel it. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to stop it. Resistance to anxiety is what causes it to persist, right? So just be okay. Okay, I'm feeling anxious today. So what? Nothing happens. I'm anxious. And even if you have an anxiety attack or a panic attack, you're freaking out physically as a result of this panic, sometimes the best way of eliminating that is to embrace it. All right, panic, come on, bring it. Bring it on, make it worse. I know that sounds really scary, but guess what? Anxiety is fear. And when you show your anxiety that you're not afraid of it, come on, all right, anxiety, come here, we're going to sit together. All right, fearful thoughts, whatever, come on, let's embrace, we're going to hug. Oftentimes that anxiety dissipates pretty quickly. Give me all you got is kind of one of the things. And one of my viewers, and somebody who I kind of feel like we've become friends, shared with me how she woke up with a high degree of anxiety, and instead of running from it and resisting it and trying to fix it, she basically just sat and said, all right, bring it on, give me all you got. And within a very short period of time, her anxiety basically passed. So don't worry about trying to fix the anxiety. So let's see here. How to quit thinking about a past issue, right? Is there a way to make these thoughts stop? So I guess two things. First of all, you can't stop your thoughts. Your thoughts never stop. If you want to test that belief, sit quietly and try to just do nothing and not think anything for 5 minutes. And watch. You're going to notice that your thoughts don't stop. So don't ever try to say, I'm a failure because I can't stop my thoughts. I can't stop my negative thinking. No, you can't stop them, but you can replace them. So again, awareness. I always talk about awareness. Awareness is huge. Become aware when you are thinking thoughts that you want to stop. And don't try to stop those negative thoughts, but just say, all right, I'm going to shift. I'm going to change these thoughts and replace those thoughts with something that's more productive, meaningful, gives you purpose, brings you joy and happiness. How much fun can you have today? What are you grateful for, right? So if you want to stop your negative thoughts, your fearful thoughts, your thoughts about your pain, don't try to stop them, because if you try to stop them, there's a vacuum and thoughts are going to fill it. And if you're in the habit of thinking negatively, the negative thoughts will just fill up that vacuum by you trying to stop it. So just think, okay, replace the thoughts. It's a little bit easier to grasp. How to learn to like yourself. That all stems from the belief that I'm not good enough. I've screwed up every area of my life. I can't do this right, I can't do that right, and I can't even get rid of this pain the right way. So how do you learn to like yourself? Put a sticker on your mirror that says, I am enough. And ask yourself 20 times a day, why do I know that I'm good enough? Why do I know that I'm worthy of love? Why do I know I'm an awesome person? Right? Use that affirmations technique I've taught. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to YouTube and search for better than affirmations. So affirmations with an O, better than affirmations, and use that as it relates to liking yourself. How about winter, the seasonal affectiveness disorder, basically sadness when the weather changes. And so I think some of that has to do with biology, the lack of sunshine, it getting darker earlier. We're exposed to more unnatural light, blue light from devices. We're not getting as much natural sunlight. It's too darn cold to go outside. How can you deal with that? If you can, bundle up, go outside, and watch the sunrise. I know it's frigid cold, but do that. Watch the sun set. Minimize artificial light, especially at night, particularly from devices. If you're staring at your phone or your computer all night long, get a pair of blue blocker sunglasses. These things will help. And so some of those physical things can help. If you're spending all winter, ruminating over how you wish it were summer, of course that's going to make you more sad. So get into a gratitude practice. What can you appreciate about the cooler weather? All right. Somebody was saying they're confused between saying focus on the positive and don't fester on the negative thoughts. Well, I guess that might be how you would interpret some of my messages. But look, or find out what's bothering you in the now. So my belief is there's a time to do this emotional work, right? It's whatever you dedicate to it, 10, 15, 30 minutes, whatever. Do the emotional discovery and allow yourself to truly just feel whatever's there. And throughout the day, what I'm suggesting you do is don't ruminate on everything that's wrong with your life. Don't get stuck in the story mode. If you happen to get upset, yes, take a break and truly say, okay, I'm really feeling angry or I'm feeling sad. Something just happened that upset me. Give yourself permission. But then don't ruminate on that thing for the rest of the day. This work in allowing yourself to feel the emotions, these negative emotions, should not be an all-day, everyday thing. It's not a full-time job. So don't get stuck in story mode. Just notice, allow yourself to feel, allow that emotion to pass, and then get back to your day. And don't ruminate on all the negative stuff. Hopefully that makes sense. Somebody asked about physical remedies, putting ice on your areas that hurt. Generally not recommended. Sarno said stop all physical treatments. Putting ice or a pain patch on your pain is not the way to treat TMS. That's the way to treat your body if you think your body's actually at fault. Yes, it may provide you some temporary relief, but it's sending a strong message to your brain that this is physical. So to a degree, you're basically questioning the whole TMS process. So if you're feeling like putting some ice on a lower back that's sore, try just observing the pain, breathing into it, and then ask yourself, what am I feeling right now, emotion-wise? Not the pain. What emotion am I feeling right now? And allow yourself to feel it. Hold an open house for your emotions. Just say, okay, emotions, come on in. Whatever you're feeling, come on in. We're going to sit together. Or do that Emotions Anonymous process. Where is anger showing up? All right, anger, it's your turn to talk. Right? Watch for those videos. Go find them. Somebody asked, my pain always flares up when I'm having an emotional conversation or phone call. But he seems to be struggling with finding what emotion is underneath it. So it's very easy when we're told to feel our emotions that we look for that one thing. That what's that one individual emotion and or situation or circumstance that's causing all the pain. Well, it's not one thing. It's all cumulative, right? It's a combination of something pissing us off, but that probably subconsciously triggering an experience from 20 years ago when somebody else made us feel like we were not good enough or a piece of crap or judged us harshly or picked on us, or a parent that didn't give us the attention or abandoned us when we were crying. And so those things matter. It's all cumulative. Don't look for the one thing, because if you're looking for the one thing and the pain does not disappear, you're going to just assume, I can't find that one thing, then you're going to look for that one thing even more. So I hope that makes sense. It's all cumulative. Just feel what you're feeling. Assume that's enough. The pain will let go when it's ready to let go. Patience for oneself and perseverance. So like affirmations. Why is it so easy to be patient with myself? Why is it so easy to not take life so serious? That kind of stuff. And there was one or two. I know this video is going on 25 minutes. Holy cow. So let me see if I can find. All right, so somebody was also saying, I can do lots of physical chores, sweeping, mopping, dishes, yard work, etc., and the pain doesn't bother me much or pretty much calms down. But when I'm sedentary or on the computer, that increases. So I know, how do I get the same mindset when doing nothing, so enjoy no pain when I'm resting or working at the computer? Since my full-time job includes being at the computer daily, I would also like to not have the pain then, and morning times. So in this particular case, they're evaluating situationally when they have pain. And what I will suggest is that sometimes that can be a hint for you. Maybe when you're sitting down at the computer at home, that brings a subconscious link up or connection between I'm at the computer, and subconsciously you're connecting that to work. And if you have pain always at work, what kind of fears, self-judgments, worry about others, impressions and judgment of us, how does that connect up with being sedentary? Is there a belief that I'm sitting sedentary and therefore I'm not doing enough, I should be doing more, and therefore there's some guilt or shame surrounding sitting down and doing nothing, right? See if you can identify any connections between this doing nothing and resting and perhaps guilt that you should be doing more, right? I don't know. Somebody else asked about symptom imperative, which is insomnia. And that's a big topic. But in general, insomnia is for one of two reasons. It could be biologically. Are you drinking too much caffeine? Are you looking at too many computer screens or television late at night and you're getting that artificial light, which turns off our melatonin, which is the hormone that helps us sleep, rest, and recover? So if so, turn these things off after dark. Don't use them unless you must. And if you do, put on a pair of blue blocker sunglasses. The other aspect of insomnia is an overactive mind or too much stress, right? So if we're constantly thinking stressful thoughts, fearful thoughts, if we're worried about not being able to sleep, we're firing up our adrenaline and cortisol, and those stress hormones make it difficult for us to relax, right? So stressing out about not being able to fall asleep just makes the problem worse. So instead of worrying that you may not be able to fall asleep, just say, all right, why do I know I'm going to fall asleep easily tonight? Why is it so easy to rest peacefully? Why is it okay? Or why is it so easy to be okay with, taking a little while to get to sleep? It's not a big deal. What can you do to soothe yourself and bring your stress levels down before you even attempt to go to sleep? And are you going to bed with the expectation that you're not going to be able to sleep? Because what we expect, we generally get. And if we are stressing out about not being able to go to sleep, and we're stressing out about it 2 hours before we're even going to bed, and we're worrying about it before we go, and every time we lay down and our head hits the pillow, we go, holy crap, it's going to be another sleepless night. Well, it can be kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy there. You can literally project, I'm not going to sleep well tonight, and then you create that through your fear and anxiety about not sleeping. So are you putting yourself into the stress response and the stress state and adrenaline and cortisol and that heightened awareness and this fear of not being able to sleep, when in fact you're trying to just rest and recover? Watch your caffeine intake. And if you are a heavy coffee drinker and you're having problems sleeping, taper off slowly and then go for a while without it. See if that regulates and helps you sleep. I'm not saying caffeine is the only problem. You may still have some of these thoughts and fears about sleep, but caffeine, artificial blue light at night, getting your circadian rhythm right, watch the sunrise, watch it set, those things can matter. So I think that covers pretty much all the questions that I've seen. So I appreciate you guys with these Q&As, and I will talk to you in the next video. Thanks.